Hi, welcome back. This is Scott Dunn, Agile Coach and Trainer at Rocket 9 Solutions. We've been going through common questions and questions raised in the Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Leadership classes. So today's question comes from awesome Alan Garcia, aka the Great Muffin. I don't know if we needed that, Alan, but good to know. And he's from Princeton, Indiana. I think you meant to say Indiana. That's all right. And the question is it a bad idea for the Scrum Master to engage individual conversations about the project with individual members of the sprint team outside of the full meeting? That is, do all conversations have to happen as a group? So I thought that was a great question. Awesome, Alan. So let me step back and ask what's the concern? Are we worried about, is it just a formality of the process? So in the Scrum Master class, one thing we go through is what is coaching versus facilitation versus teaching versus mentoring. So on this grid, you can kind of look on number of people and type of interaction you're having. Is it one directional? Is it they have the solutions themselves? So I think there's plenty of reasons you would have one-on-one conversations. Specifically, coaching is usually one-on-one. That makes sense. But certainly you could have one-on-one conversations like, hey, I wasn't sure what you meant in the daily Scrum. Hey, can you help me understand where you're at because you haven't updated your, the hours of the task board, things like that, right? So, and it's not per se coaching. It could be just like, I wasn't sure. So I think maybe part of the concern you're having is this a rule that everything must be done as a group because it's all team and we're self-organizing and always sharing information, always high collaborative. I'm all for that, but again, back to ROI, which is a common thread on some of our questions that have come before, and that is, if I have everyone get together every time we have to talk about something, that's a cost. They could have been doing something else. It's a value. So is it really worth it? So for example, design decisions, estimates, how long is this going to take, and who knows who's going to do the work. So working agreements, things that affect the whole team or likely could affect others and the team, then yeah, I want to talk to them about that and involve the whole group. And also maybe just have those one-on-ones, and if something does come up from that information, for example, he hadn't updated the task board because he's trying to figure out how to do X, and you thought, I think that might affect others if you're making a decision there on the code, or that affects testing. Hey, who else should we talk to? So I think a common thing is flip it. Now I'm drawing that aspect from the Agile Leadership class, which really empowering managers and that kind of mindset to make them more, like coaches. And I think a common question trying to move from being the expert who just knows is moving towards someone who would say, more like a coach, who else should we talk to? Who else should be involved? And kind of challenging them to think about that as well. Because yes, we could say, hey, you need to talk to Bob about that. But then the next time they won't think they should talk to Bob because they just simply did what you said. I really would challenge them to say, hey, should anyone else know about that? Do you think that affects anyone else? Could there be consequences if you just go ahead and do X, Y, and Z? So just think about that and consider it. So I think there's a range. Some is definitely just one-on-one, and it doesn't even have to be coaching. Some is asking them to think about it. Does this affect others and involve others? You could also just update others, but I don't really want you to be like the chief networker talking to people, passing on information. That might have been true in traditional project management. I want them to kind of own more of that. And I think on the far end is truly like, it's going to involve everyone. It's just a given, right? Retrospectives, estimates, that type of stuff. Then we're just going to always default. And unless there's an exception, unless some of the team members say, I don't need to be there. I asked Paul to step in there for me and things like that. You can figure that out. So I hope if that's some help for you, the Great Muffin in Princeton. And feel free to comment below if it does or doesn't answer your question. If there's anyone else who's been in these situations before, we'd love to get your feedback too, so you can add that below. And we'll continue the conversation. Hope this is of some help to you on your journey. Good luck.